Mr. Joseph Abraham, you are charged with fraud, bribery, and betrayal of public trust. How do you plead? Mr. Joseph, how do you plead? Joseph, quietly. Not guilty. Gasps erupted. Phones click. His face calm but broken. Tech mogul falls from grace. Church elder or crooked businessman. Hashtag Joseph scam trends nationwide. 2 months ago, I was building hope. But today, I'm fighting for my name. I lost my company. I buried my children. My wife begged me to lie, but I chose truth even if it cost me everything. Hello and welcome, beloved family, to Heritage TV, where faith, love, and hope come alive in timeless stories. I'm so glad you're here today. Before we dive in, tell me, where are you tuning in from? Drop it in the comments or chat. I love knowing where our family of listeners is joining from around the world. I'd love to know your story because it matters. Now let me ask you something personal. Have you ever faced a season where everything seemed to fall apart? A time when people turned against you, lies spread faster than truth, and even those closest to you doubted you? If so, then you'll relate to the story we're about to share. This is the modern-day retelling of the story of Job, a man of faith, integrity, and great loss, but also of vindication and restoration. Sit with me through this journey. Reflect on Joseph's story, and maybe, just maybe, you'll see your own story in his. What if the man you trusted most betrayed you? What if your greatest invention ruined your life? What if your faith was the only thing left standing? This isn't just a story about betrayal. It's about faith, fire, and forgiveness. This is the story of Joseph Abraham. He had everything, until he lost it all. But what he refused to lose was his integrity. Joseph Abraham, a tech entrepreneur, the kind of man whose name opened doors, a name that echoes through boardrooms, church halls, and government corridors. A man of vision, a man of faith, a man people respected. He wasn't perfect, but he was kind, generous, and upright. A man of integrity, a respected entrepreneur. He was the founder of Abraham Innovations, a tech company focused on clean energy solutions for underserved communities. His invention, a solar-powered water purification system, was poised to revolutionize access to clean water in the country. He employed dozens of workers and gave scholarships to kids in his community. At home, he was a devoted husband and father. His life was the picture of stability and blessing. He was also a beloved elder at Grace Fountain Assembly, known for his humility, generosity, and his faith unshakable. Every Sunday, he led prayers with conviction, quoting scriptures like, "I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me." Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. Romans chapter 8, verse 28. His family was his pride, a devoted wife, Sarah, and 3 brilliant children, Joyce, Emma, and Jacob. Life, it seemed, had smiled on Joseph. He had it all, a thriving business, a beautiful family, his wife and children, and the respect of his community. Sunlight pours through glass panels. Engineers bustle around a sleek prototype. Joseph Abraham, confident and kind, stands in the center, holding a tablet. "Let's run the final test solar load." "No backup," Joseph said. The machine hums. A green light blinks. Water flows, clean, clear, and steady. Applause erupts. "We did it, sir!" "It's stable," the engineer shouted, excited. "This isn't just tech. It's life," Joseph exclaimed. "Clean water for every village. No more cholera. No more scarcity," he said, excited. He walks to a whiteboard labeled Project Living Waters. Underneath, goal 10,000 homes, 1 million lives. When he arrives home in the afternoon, his children, Joyce, Emma, and Jacob, rush to greet him. Sarah, his wife, sets the table. "Dad, when's the launch?" Joyce asked. "Soon, the partnership is signed." "We're going global," Joseph replied. "You're going to change the world," Emma said. "No, we're going to change it together," Joseph assured them. They laugh. Sarah watches, smiling, and said, "God is faithful." "Always," Joseph replied confidently. At Grace Fountain Assembly, Joseph stands at the pulpit. The congregation listens intently. "We don't just build machines, we build hope. We don't just purify water, we purify purpose." He pauses, emotional. "The Lord has blessed us. But let's never forget, our gifts are not for profit. They're for people." He continues, "Blessed is the one who considers the poor. The Lord will deliver him in time of trouble." Psalm 41:1. The congregation erupts in Amen. It started with a business deal that should have been his breakthrough. Joseph had partnered with a multinational firm to scale his invention. His best and most trusted friend Johnson introduced him to the business. But unknown to him, Johnson is in cohort with his rivals, led by a former associate, Robert. Robert had infiltrated the deal. They manipulated the specs, sabotaged the prototype, and leaked false reports to the media. The project collapsed and investors pulled out. Both his company and personal funds invested into the project went down the drain. Within weeks, Abraham Innovations filed for bankruptcy. And just when he thought things couldn't get worse, tragedy struck. He got a call from an unknown number. His children had been in an accident. He rushed in with his wife. They stood in silence at the hospital hall, waiting, praying that their children will survive. A doctor approaches slowly. "I'm sorry. There was nothing we could do," he said solemnly. Sarah collapses. Joseph catches her. Tears stream down his face. Joseph stands before the congregation. His voice trembles. "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be his name." Murmur ripple through the crowd. Some nod, others whisper. His children were killed in a car accident on their way back from a youth conference. Sarah, his wife, shattered by grief, turned bitter. She stopped attending church. She lashed out at Joseph. "Why are you still clinging to your faith? What kind of God lets this happen?" But Joseph, though broken, whispered softly, "Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" As if grief and financial ruin weren't enough, Joseph's health began to fail. Diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease, he grew frail. And at night, lying weak on his bed, he cried out, pouring out his heart to God, asking, "Why me? God, why me? What have I done? Have you forgotten me?" He felt abandoned. But even in his questions, he refused to reject God. "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." Everyone has moments where prayers seem unanswered and silence feels unbearable. Have you ever had such moments? Please share in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Nights grew longer. Pain grew sharper. Friends came, but instead of comfort, they blamed him. Johnson, driven by envy, insinuated that he must have done something wrong for God to punish him so. He hated the way Joseph was always celebrated. He felt he was being self-righteous. Though he manipulated him, God must be punishing him with multiple tragedy because of his hidden sins, he thought, justifying his actions, trying to rid himself of his guilt. Maybe you sinned, Joseph. People don't suffer this much unless they deserve it. You must have secrets. Tell us the truth, another one intoned. Now, tell me, family. Have you ever been betrayed by your most trusted friends? People you least expect? Drop it in the comment below. Their words pierced deeper than illness. Alone in his room, Joseph cried out, "God, where are you? Why won't you answer me? What have I done to deserve this?" But heaven was silent. And still, Joseph refused to curse God. One sleepless night, as Joseph stared out of the window, it was as if God's voice whispered through his soul. "Joseph, were you there when I laid the foundations of the earth? Can you command the storms or set the stars in place? Trust me." Joseph broke down, sobbing. "Forgive me, Lord, I spoke of things I did not understand." "I will trust you," he whispered. In the midst of his suffering, a glimmer of hope appeared. The state government opened bids for a major infrastructure project, a sustainable housing development. Dozens of firms prepared to bid. Joseph submitted a clean, transparent bid. A panel was set. Everyone had to defend their proposal. Rivals scoff at Joseph's modest presentation, but his proposal focuses on transparency, sustainability, and affordability for the people. Joseph stands before them, presenting his proposal for the Living Waters housing project. This isn't just concrete and steel. It's dignity. It's clean water, solar power, and affordable homes for families who've never had one. Joseph pitched. Officials nod. One whispers to another. Robert, seated in the back, watches with clenched fists. He also bided. 2 weeks later, Joseph receives a call. He listens, then slowly smiles. "We got it. We won the bid," he announced. His staff erupts in celebration. Sarah watches from the doorway, arms crossed. "You buried our children. You buried our future. You think this fixes everything?" Sarah said bitterly, her voice cold. "It's a start," he replied. The announcement that he won the bid sent ripples of fury through the business world. Now I want to pause. What happens when you succeed without playing dirty? Do people celebrate you? Or envy you? Tell me in the comment. His rivals, furious that he was still standing, spread rumors that he had bribed officials. When he won the contract, his friend Johnson, together with Robert and 2 associates, sit around a laptop and plotted. He refused to play dirty. Now he's the hero. Time to show the world who Joseph really is, Johnson said maliciously. They begin fabricating documents, emails, bank transfers, fake invoices suggesting he had embezzled funds. They leaked them online. The lie went viral. The backlash was swift. Social media exploded. Screens flashed with tweets, Instagram posts, and WhatsApp messages. Joseph bribed his way to the top. Church elder caught in housing scam. Hashtag Joseph scam trending nationwide. Hashtag fraud prophet, hashtag bribe king, hashtag exposed. Hashtag Joseph scam, church elder or crooked businessman. He's been pretending all along. No one's that clean. Church elders called emergency meetings. Some members stopped speaking to him. His integrity was questioned. Joseph walks into church one Sunday, frail, trying to hold his head high. But whispers follow him like shadows. So he bribed his way to the contract? I knew no man could be that clean. He was probably living a double life all along. Hypocrite! He preached against corruption, yet look at him now. Maybe all the charity was just a cover-up. His blessings were too good to be true. Whispering voices overlapping like a chorus. Even those he once helped began to turn. A young man he sponsored through school shook his head in disgust. He paid my tuition, yes. But with stolen money? I feel ashamed to have his name on my certificate. The young man said, bitter. At the elders' meeting, disappointment filled the air. The first elder said, Brother Joseph, the evidence is everywhere. People are leaving the church because of this scandal. Sighing, you built a reputation on holiness and honesty. Now the name of God is mocked because of you. How could you betray us like this? Said the second elder sternly. Joseph stood weak but unwavering. I have not done what they say. My conscience is clear before God, said Joseph, pleading. Another elder whispered under breath, maybe he's lying even now. Maybe he's been lying all along. The murmur turned into open condemnation. Pretender! Church members chorused. All those years of teaching wasted. He fooled us. He fooled everyone. We followed a fraud. Ever been in a place where people you served, people you gave your all to, suddenly turned and judged you? That was Joseph. Sarah, still grieving, begged him. Just tweak the numbers, Joseph. Everyone does it, just this once. But he refused. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Job 13, verse 15. Sarah turned away, bitter and broken. The church that once celebrated Joseph now rejected him. The community that once praised his name now spit on it. And Joseph, alone, sick, and condemned, sat under the weight of their words. News outlets picked it up. Sponsors withdrew. The church suspended him from leadership. His name was dragged through the mud. He was charged to court. Joseph in his office that night. The office was dark. He didn't put on the light. He sits with his head in his hands. His phone rings. It's a government official. Mr. Abraham, we're freezing the project pending investigation, the official informed him. Joseph doesn't respond. He stares at the blueprint of Living Water's estate, then at his children's photo on his table. He was offered a chance to manipulate the narrative, to pay off a few people and make it all go away. But he refused. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. Job 23, verse 10. His wife, still grieving, still angry, asked him one last time, Why won't you bend, Joseph, just a little? They're offering you a way out. Just sign the statement. Say it was a misunderstanding. He looked at her, eyes tired but steady. That would be a lie, he told her. And this is pride, she answered, furious. No, this is faith. If I lose everything but keep my integrity, I've lost nothing. But if I gain the world and lose my soul, I've lost everything. Friends, let me ask you directly. If you were offered an easy path to wealth but had to compromise your integrity, would you take it? Or would you stand firm, knowing it might cost you everything? Let me know in the comments below. The day of the hearing came. Muted murmur rippled through the packed courtroom. Everybody's faces was stern, flashing phones, and news crews. Joseph Abraham stands alone at the defendant's table. His suit is wrinkled. His eyes are hollow but defiant. Mr. Joseph Abraham, you are charged with fraud, bribery, and betrayal of public trust. How do you plead? Asked the judge. Joseph doesn't answer. He stares ahead, lost in thought. He remembers his innovations lab as he stands before a team of engineers. They cheer as a solar-powered water purifier hums to life. He remembers as he hugs his children, Joyce, Emma, and Jacob, who beam with pride. He remembers church, Sunday mornings as he leads prayer. The congregation is moved. Sarah, his wife, watches lovingly. The judge repeats the question. "Mr. Abraham, how do you plead?" Joseph quietly answered. "Not guilty." Gasps erupted, phones click, his face, calm but broken. The social media storms. News headlines. Tech mogul accused of fraud. Church elder suspended. Hashtag Joseph scam trends nationwide. Tweets began to flash across screens. Hashtag Joseph scam, church elder or crooked businessman. He's been pretending all along. He sat alone in his modest apartment, scrolling through comments in disbelief, his phone buzzing nonstop. Fraudster hiding behind faith. He deserves everything coming to him. Even his closest friends distanced themselves. Friends who used to admire him now whispered behind his back. He must have done something wrong. Maybe he wasn't as clean as he looked, they said on social media. His illness makes others avoid him. Instead of comfort, Joseph faced judgment. The betrayal was complete. Months passed. Joseph lived quietly, surviving on savings and prayer. No press conferences, no counterattacks, just prayer and silence. And here's the question for you. Can you still trust God in silence? When nothing makes sense, can you hold on? Joseph was in a wretched state, a prolonged court case, an ailing health, loss, and a shattered home. Hostility from his wife, slander. He couldn't go out without being mocked. People whisper everywhere he goes, children point at him. The church ignores him, yet he didn't stop going. He couldn't. This happened for 2 years. He was in constant agony. "I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth." Psalm 121, verse 1 and 2. He read and prayed constantly. Then the tide turned. A whistleblower. Robert's former assistant, Amanda, came forward. She arranged for a meeting with Joseph in a cafe. Joseph, skeptical at first, refused to go, but after much thought and prayer, agreed to meet up. "I used to work for Robert," she said. She had evidence, emails, recordings, and bank statements proving the conspiracy. "I saw everything, the fake invoices, the bribes, the media leaks." "Why are you telling me this?" "Why now?" Joseph asked her. "Because you didn't bend, and people like you deserve truth." She slides a flash drive across the table. Joseph plugs in the drive into his laptop. His eyes widen. Emails, audio recordings, bank statements. The conspiracy is laid bare. Joseph softly, "Thank you, God." When the whistleblower's evidence surfaced, the truth spread just as fast as the lies had. Emails, voice recordings, and documents revealed how Joseph's associates forged the reports and planted false accusations. Rivals were shown to have funded the smear campaign. Breaking. Joseph Daniels cleared of all fraud charges. Associates arrested for sabotage and conspiracy. Investigations revealed Joseph refused to manipulate or bribe, standing firm in integrity. The news anchor on TV announced, the city that once condemned him now stood in stunned silence. In homes, on buses, in church pews, people whispered again, this time with shame. "We were wrong about him. He really was innocent all along. And we condemned him without proof." I joined in mocking him, God forgive me. He suffered because of lies, not because of guilt. Truly, integrity outlives slander. The government held a press conference. Mr. Joseph Abraham is cleared of all allegations. The Living Waters Project will resume immediately. The government official announced. People applauded, cameras flash. The government issued a formal apology. The church reinstated him. His company was offered a new grant to rebuild. He got another contract. His invention, the solar-powered water purification system, was to be taken to other parts of the world, mostly to Asia and Africa. He went global. The friends, the ones that deserted him, came to celebrate with him. They forgot the social media post, the neglect, the time he needed them most, the time he walks the street alone with people throwing insults at him. He needed someone to be there, someone to lean on, someone to pour his mind to, someone to believe him. We didn't know Johnson could be that wicked. They said, covering up for their own betrayal. To err is human and to forgive is divine. Joseph forgave them, all of them, Johnson especially. Sarah, humbled and repentant, returned to faith. She wept as she held Joseph's hand. I was wrong. You never stopped trusting God. I doubted you. I doubted God, but you stood. You didn't bend. Can you forgive me? Always. Joseph smiled, frail but radiant assured her. There was a great silence. As Joseph walks into the church on Sunday, then whispers, then murmur. A church elder approaches. We saw the news. We were wrong. He said, God vindicates the righteous. Another elder added. The pastor preached, Joseph Abraham didn't just survive the fire. He was purified, refined by it. He said passionately, apologetically, let this be a lesson. Integrity is never outdated. Living Waters Estates was launched. Children play. Families move into new homes. Solar panels gleam. Clean water flows. Joseph walks through the estate, greeted with smiles and gratitude. Community members praised him. You didn't just build homes, you rebuilt trust. Joseph sits for an interview on TV where the whole world was watching. The host leans in. You were mocked, accused, abandoned. What kept you going? Joseph said, faith, and the belief that truth doesn't need to shout. It just needs to stand. Later that evening, Joseph and Sarah sit together, watching the sunset. Their children's photo sits on the table. Sarah places a hand on his. They'd be proud, Sarah intoned. I hope I made them proud, Joseph replied, smiling. Joseph rebuilt slowly. His health improves. His new project, Living Waters Estate, became a symbol of integrity and resilience. New business doors open. He had built a logistics and tech company that created jobs and developed inventions meant to make transportation safer and cheaper for everyday people. His wife conceives, his marriage is restored, and he's blessed with more than before. People came from all over the world to hear him speak. His story was taught in churches, schools, and business seminars. He never sought revenge. He forgave those who betrayed him. His life became a living sermon. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. James chapter 1, verse 12. Joseph's journey mirrors the silent battles many fight: loss, betrayal, public shame, and the temptation to compromise. But his story reminds us that integrity, though costly, is never wasted. That faith, though tested, is never in vain. And that sometimes, the ashes we sit in become the soil from which our greatest testimony grows. Joseph's story is not just his, it's ours. It's the story of every person who's been betrayed, misunderstood, mocked, and tempted to compromise. It's the story of every believer who's asked, where is God in this? But it's also the story of hope, of restoration, of a God who sees, who knows, and who vindicates. If you were inspired by this story, don't forget to like and share with someone who needs hope. Subscribe for more real-life dramas that speak to your soul. And if you're in your own season of ashes, remember, integrity may cost you everything, but it will never leave you empty. And like Joseph, you too will rise.